Hi, thanks for tuning in. Today I want to share 5 facts that you didn't know about Hermes. Now, some of you might know some of these, you might know all of them, but I still feel like these are lesser known facts about Hermes. So I had a lot of fun putting this video together. There were a few things that I found out recently that I thought was really interesting, so I figured it would be fun and helpful to share. So this is more of like a chit-chat video where I share some facts about Hermes, and then we can, continue the information sharing in the comment section down below. If you're tuning in for the first time, hi, I'm Katie. I like to do these luxury fashion videos here on YouTube. I share hauls and reviews, but at the end of the day, I share my journey so that we can all mindfully curate our own collections. So if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below with the most shocking fact to you. These 5 facts are not in any particular order, but the first fact that I wanted to share, did you know that Hermes was almost bought out by LVMH? So Hermes almost became a part of the LVMH giant. For those of you who are not familiar, LVMH stands for Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. It is a massive corporation that actually has a whole bunch of companies underneath it. Louis Vuitton, of course, is one of them, but Dior, Fendi, it's massive. And Bernard Arnault is the head of LVMH. I think he's like one of the richest men in Europe. But back in the 2010s, so this is like pretty recent history considering Hermes is like, over 100 years old. But in like the 2010s was this attempt. It was a pretty stealth attempt, if you will, by Arnault to try and gain majority shares in Hermes so that he could control Hermes as well, ultimately overtake it. My understanding is that Hermes does have shares. The family still owns and operates the business to this day. And so at the time, what he was trying to do, this is like the really distilled down version, okay? So this is like the Cliff Notes version of like what happened. But basically, Arnault was trying to purchase shares from some of the family members through a different corporation name so that it wasn't like immediately recognizable that it was, LVMH trying to buy these shares up. And so he had some success. He was gaining some traction, and then the family started noticing there was this weird pattern going on, and they put a stop to that pretty much. So that's fun fact number 1, that Hermes almost became a part of LVMH back in the day. But I think it was good that they didn't let that happen. I feel like Hermes has really stayed true to what it means to be a luxury brand, and how a whole brand should really embrace the artistry, the artisans, and sort of the whole history of making every single piece. I feel like they've held on to that really well, and I feel like if they had become a part of LVMH, that they might have lost some of that. They might have become a bit more of like a commercial machine. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's, one is not better or worse necessarily. They are different. But I feel like Hermes was able to stay true to some of that kind of heritage, and that's what helps differentiate it in the market right now. Okay, the next fact. Did you know, number 2, the special orders are actually, it's invite only. I think most people knew that. But the invites are actually designated by Paris. So Paris headquarters actually designates these special order invites for each boutique and the specific client within that boutique. You might have already known this. You might already go through the special order process, so you know. But I thought each boutique identified the clients that they wanted to extend a special order invite to. But at least this is what my essay told me. Maybe I'm not even close to a special order status, so she just told me this, so I wouldn't talk about it anymore. But I happened to be in the boutique when people were coming in to place their special orders. So because it was happening like all around me, literally there were like 3 different parties like picking out their special orders while I was in the boutique. So I was just like, oh, like what happens? Like how does this process go? So my essay was like, oh, Paris lets us know like who they would want to be a part of the special order. They let each boutique know. There's a very limited number of invites that go out, and they let each boutique know which client it should go out to. And I was like, oh, Paris gets involved. Fact number 3. This is also special order related. But there are actually 2 seasons for a special order. There's a spring-summer season and a fall-winter season. So there are 2 different times that invites can get extended. I didn't know that. I thought it was actually once a year. It turns out it's twice a year. The specific timing of when the invites go out, I think might be a little bit different. So one year it might go out in like February, another year it might go out in March. But like there definitely is like a spring summer season and there is a fall winter season. So there are 2 shots a year that you could look out for a special order invitation. I mean, I did hear like my essay also shared that there can be, you could be like a level, like a client that pretty much gets a special order every year. Like if you're like that VIP, I guess. If you've had history with the boutique for years, you know, it pretty much happens for you on a yearly basis. But I think other than that, there are pretty much these 2 seasons where invites will get extended to specific clients at specific boutiques. Fact number 4 is around the infamous orange packaging. So did you know that Hermes actually had cream packaging back in the day? And actually during World War II, materials were running really scarce, and Hermes had run out of their stockpile of packaging material, the boxes, the ribbons, and stuff like that. When they contacted their supplier, like materials, like the raw materials were just not flowing in and out of the country because they were in the middle of a war. And so the supplier really pretty much only had packaging that nobody else wanted, and that was in an orange color. So Hermes decided to take those to be able to continue, you know, facilitating the sales and stuff like that. So that's where the infamous orange boxes had really come from. It wasn't so much a deliberate choice. It seemed like it was actually Hermes picking up the least desired color that there was at the time. But who knew that it would now become this really iconic color for the brand. I don't know if they would ever rebrand to a different color. I mean, they might, who knows, right? But yeah, I thought that was such an interesting story that it really emerged from like wartime scarcity. My audio corrupted, but I still want to share my 5th fact, so I'm going to do that as a voiceover. So my 5th fact, did you know about Hermes, is that they actually introduced the first garment with a zipper in 1918 in France. It was added onto a golf jacket, and it was known as the Hermes fastener because of the exclusive usage rights for leather goods and clothing in France. And that's how Hermes was able to really share the functionality of the zipper on clothes and handbags throughout France in the early 1900s. It sort of looks like it's like 7:30 right now, but it's not. It's just a cloud decided to hide the sun. But I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you learned something new about Hermes. I always think it's fascinating to find out some more of like the history or some of these like anecdotes or interesting stories that get tied to the brand. A lot of times, at least for me, I get really consumed with like, oh, what's new? What's the new collection? Like, what are the new bags? Or what are the new things looking like? What are the new colors? But sometimes I think it's interesting to find out more about like the brand itself, you know, the history and what goes on behind it. That was like the intention behind putting this video. together. If you have any other facts, any other tidbits of information that you would like to share, please share them in the comments down below. I'm sure everyone else would also love to learn more about Hermes. If you have any questions on anything at all, feel free to leave those down below as well, or head on over to Instagram and I'd be happy to help however I can. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate all of your feedback and support. If you like this kind of content and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I post new fashion related videos every Sunday and Wednesday. So until next time,